All right, my friends and class, let's learn what happened right before the sea split and the Jews started to sing. So it says the Jewish people, they went into the sea on the dry land. And the water for them was a wall on the right side and on the left side. What's it mean? Here, if you see here, it says what? That the Jews went into the sea in the dry land. They went into the sea, into the dry land. And the water was for them a choma, a wall from the right and the left. Now, there's a sentence later on that says pretty much the same thing, but it's a little bit different. And the Kli Ykar, Rav Shlomo Milunchitz, he took notice of this. Where is the sentence? Listen to this. Here it says that the Jewish people came to the sea on the dry land. Right? Well, we're going to see there's a sentence in a few minutes that's going to say the Jewish people went into the dry land and the sea. First of all, it says dry land. Here it says the sea first. They went into the sea on the dry land. And it says the water was for them a choma, a wall. Here it says choma, a wall. It says with a vav, choma. Right? Okay, let's look at the next sentence. So down here, it says like this. It says like this. One minute, one too far. Here it goes. Here it says, what did it say in the previous sentence? Remember, it said the Jewish people went into the Jews went into the sea on the dry land, and the waters for them a choma, a wall, but it says a vav. It's written with a vav over here. And here, let me just make sure of this side. And here it says that not that the Jewish people went into the sea, the sea and the dry land. Here it says they went into the dry land in the sea. Is there any difference? Well, I mean, the words are in a different order. And when it says, so here it says dry land first. They went into the dry land in the sea. And when it says the word choma, it says without a vav. Does it mean anything? Well, we'll see. Let's go back to the first sentence. Remember here it says, first of all, they went to the dry land in the sea. Here it says, the Jewish people went into the sea and the dry land. And also here when it says choma, it has a vav in there. So the Kli Ykar says like this. Here it says, first of all, they went to the sea before they went into the dry land. Later on, a sentence that I just showed you, it says the opposite. It says that the Jewish people went on the dry land and the sea. Also here, it says, I mean, both of the sentences, one of the sentences are extra. You don't have to have both of them. Over here, it says that the water was for them a choma with a letter vav in it. And later on, when it says choma, it says missing a vav. Okay, there's a midrash that says in the midrash Yalkut Shimoni, and it says Masikit concludes, Shehu Lashon Af Avachema. Choma without a vav can also mean anger. Chema, anger is also chema. Lefi Shoya Yisrael, because the Jewish people, they were under severe judgment. If God was wondering if He should save them or He should drown them together with the Egyptians, and these were the best of them, right? These were the Jews that they didn't want to stay in Egypt. But nevertheless, they came out of Egypt only for selfish reasons. And of course, in the end, these were the Jews that made a lot of trouble also, because they were the ones that wanted to go back all the time. Okay, now we can understand what's going on. There were two types of Jews that came out. in addition to the converts that they always made trouble, but the two types of Jews, some of them were tzaddikim. They really believed in God and they trusted God with all their being. And then some of them had no faith, very little faith in God. Like it was, remember, there was a similar story when the Mabul was, when God made a flood. It says that Noah went in, but God had to force others to go into the ark because of the waters. When they saw the waters, then they wanted to go in. So the good ones of Israel, they went first of all into the sea, and then they went into the sea, and it says the sea went up to their noses. And then after that, the sea split and they saw the dry land. Right? First of all, they went into the sea, even though they didn't see any dry land. But nevertheless, they believed in God. So then these Jews, it said, that's what this sentence is referring to. First, they went into the sea, and then after that, they saw the dry land. And now the water for them was a choma with a vav in it. That means a wall to protect them. But the lower Jews, the Jews that really didn't seriously want to leave Egypt, right? They didn't want to go. They just didn't want to stay there. They didn't know what was going on. So they left. They didn't really believe in God. So first of all, they waited for the sea to split. They sort of held back. When the sea split and they saw the dry land, then they went into the dry land. They didn't really believe in God. So they didn't go into the water until they saw that the sea had split and they could see the dry land there. And then they could go across. So these Jews, they made God mad. So therefore, it doesn't say choma with a vav. It says chema. It's without a vav. So you can read it, punctuate it with an A sound. Not a Tsiri, Tsiri. That's right, Tsiri, with a Tsiri. That's a 2 dots, means an A. That's why it says before that immediately when they went into the water, before they saw the dry land. So therefore it says here that they went into the water and then they saw the dry land and the water was a wall. But later on when it says it, what does it say? It says that, there it is, what is Chavtes, wasn't it? It says the Jewish people, they went, first of all, the dry land. In other words, they waited until the sea split so they could see the dry land. And then they went into the water, and the water was a choma, don't say choma, but chema. God was angry at them that they did this. Okay, very nice idea. Kov Gimel. The Egyptians ran after the Israelis, and they came after them, all the horses of Paro and his chariots and the cavalry, and they went into the sea. It says the sus is only, doesn't say all the horses, susim. It was just one horse. But what it's telling you that in God's eyes, it was just like one horse. And it was Ashmot Boker. Rashi explains this means right before morning. And God looked on the camp of Egypt with a pillar, and he went with a pillar of fire and water. Vayam et Machan and Israel, and he confused them, the Egyptians. The Rashi explains what is Yashmot Boker means right before the morning. Right before the morning rose up, and God came with fire and a cloud. The cloud was like full of water. It came down and it made the ground for the Egyptians like mud. Now remember, when the Jews went over the ground of the sea, it was a miracle. The Jews went over the ground of the sea, was totally dry, totally dried up. But as soon as the last Jew left, as soon as the last Jew passed any certain spot, then that spot would be made into mud by means of the cloud. There was also another cloud, a pillar of fire, that made everything boiling hot, so that the horses, their hooves of the horses burned because of that. So that made everything very confusing. We're going to see it also burned off the wheels of the chariots and everything. That confused everyone. And here it says, Yossi Galili says it means that there was a loud noise, and the noise was what confused everyone. God removed the wheels of the chariots, and they were dragged very heavily. Rashi says what happened over here from the fire. The fire burned off not only the hooves of the horses, but also the wheels of the chariots, and it was dragged. And therefore, the people that were sitting on the chariots, and they were thrown around, and their joints became dislocated. And it says, God and the Egyptians said, let us flee before the Egyptians, let's flee before the Israelis, before the Jewish people, because God is fighting for them against us. He's fighting, God is doing the battle. The Egyptians, it says, either God is fighting against Mitzrayim, against the whole Egyptian nation, or some people say Mitzrayim. God is fighting in the land of Israel. In the land of Egypt, God was also fighting, just like the soldiers of Paro were getting smit on the sea. God also, there was the similar tragedies were occurring to the Egyptians, which remained back in Egypt. In other words, they got 10 plagues, and this is going to be another one, right? The same thing that was happening to the soldiers, that the feet were burning and etc., was happening to them also in Egypt. Baal HaTurim says, what does it mean that the wagons became heavy? Because this is a repayment for what the taskmasters of the Egyptians said, Tichbar avodah. Let the work of Paro also said, let's make the work heavy on the Jews. We'll make it even worse. So there was, God said to Moshe, stick out your hand on the sea, and the water will come back on the Egyptians, on their chariots and on their horsemen. The water will come back. Here he says, the OrHaChaim says like this. What he asked the question, OrHaChaim, why did Moses have to lift up his hand? I mean, the whole reason that the sea split, it was a big miracle, so the Jews would go over. So when the Jews got out of the sea, and we're going to see later on, which we talked about this before, in fact, the Jews did not cross over the sea to the other side. They went down the sea, they made a left turn, and they came out, they made a left turn, they made a U-turn, so they came out on the same side that they went in. The whole trick was in order to kill the Egyptians. And the Rebbe says it was also not because of that. Also, because God could have just killed the Egyptians in their sleep. He could have done it any way he wanted to. He just could have stopped creating them. Or stopped their heartbeat and whatever God wanted to. But this was to show them that God is the boss, and also to reveal godliness to the Jewish people. Like it said, all the water split, all the heavens split. This heavens, the Jewish simplest Jew, the simplest maidservant, saw visions that even the highest of the prophets didn't see. Because when it says the waters split, it doesn't say the river split. It says that all the water, even the heavens is shamayim, is heaven, that even the heavens split, so that everyone could see the creator of the heavens and earth. They all could see. In any case, he says, so why did Moses, the whole thing was the Jews should go through. And as soon as the Jews went through, so there's no reason to continue this miracle. Says the reason is, that's what the question he asks. The OrHaChaim says that it could, without the miracle, it could be that maybe the water in the river would come back little by little. In other words, maybe as soon as the first Jew got out of the water, so the water would start coming back from from the last Jew to leave. Not the first. As soon as the last Jew got out of the water, so there's no reason for it. So it could be that at that point, when the last Jew got out, so the water would start to come back little by little. And it would give the Egyptians a chance that they could run out. They could run away. Therefore, God said to Moses to tell this, to wake up the sea by sticking out his hand, and it should go back to its original power immediately. And that's what it says, V'yashav le'itano, that the water went back, we'll see this later, to its original power. And that's what God wanted the river to do from the beginning of creation. We'll talk about this in a moment. Another is like this, that this hints that the sea had to do its work. It's so that no one would be able to leave the sea. And it shouldn't allow them in any way to escape, to go back from the sea. So therefore, those people, let's say, for instance, the Egyptians that were right at they were the last ones to go into the sea, right? So all the Egyptians went in, and it was the last soldiers to go into the sea. Well, it could be when they went into the sea, they could see, they heard this big noise, they could figure it was going out. So they were only into the dry land of the sea, or the mud, just a couple feet. So they could run away. And therefore, God said to the sea, don't let anybody escape. That's what it means the water went back. That's why Moses lifted up his hand. Okay, Moses lifted up his hand on the sea. The water came back in the morning, because remember, they left Egypt, was all like right before the morning, right the morning, to its original power. And the Egyptians were running away, and God shook up the Egyptians inside of the sea. Let's look at the Baal HaTurim over here. He said, La'etano, to its original power. Yeah, to its original power. What does it mean? It says that the Egyptians were running away. What does it mean? That they thought that they could run away. Maybe they could go back onto the dry land. So therefore, they ran away, and it said that Moses knew exactly when the time was that when the sea was going to go back. So therefore, that's what our rabbis say, that it was. So that's what. So Moshe was able to draw down the sea on. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading the wrong explanation. I'm sorry. I'm reading the Evan Ezra. I didn't prepare that here. Lifnot Boker. He says like this. La'etano. The letters Eitano are the same letters as Tana'o. The water went back to its condition. What condition? That God made a condition when he created the water in the beginning of the world, that it would split for the Jewish people. So when God made the water, he made it that it would split for the Jewish people like 2,000 whatever years later, 2,400 years later, that the water would split and the Jews would go across. That's what it means, Eitano. L'tana'o, to its original. The OrHaChaim says, why did God have to shake up the Egyptians? It says because the Egyptians, they were people and they knew how to swim in the sea. Even when the sea was as powerful as it could be, they knew how to swim. So therefore, it said that God shook them up. He shook them up and he took away their power so that they weren't able to swim at all. And the rabbi said that the Egyptians were all dead. What does it mean the Egyptians were dead? This is the guardian angel of the Egyptians. Said that it became physical, and the water ruled over also this angel of Egypt. The water came back and it covered over the rechev, the chariots and the horsemen and all of the soldiers of Paro that came after him into the sea, and there was not even one of them that remained. There is a midrash that says that Paro did remain and that he escaped afterwards and he became the king of Nineveh. Well, Bnei Israel, the Jewish people, they went through the dry land in the sea, and the water was for them a wall for their right side and for the left side. It says, while the Egyptians, the Sforno, while the Egyptians were drowning in the sea, it says that the sea didn't go back to its its power on the side where the Jews were. So according to what the Sforno says, is that the water did not wait for all the Jews to get out. As soon as the last Egyptian went into the sea, so the water started to drown them. That's what he says. However, it is, God saved the Jews on that day from the hands of Egypt. Vayah Yisrael Mitzrayim, and the Jews saw the Egyptians dead on the Sfat Hayam, on the edges of the sea. Shapalt Hayam, that the sea spit them out. I mean, why didn't they drown? It takes a while for bodies to be spit out. Not only that, it says they went in, they were all armed, it says that Pharaoh told them to take jewelry. They were going to make an ornament themselves because they were going to make a big party. They were going to finally take revenge on the Jews. So it says that they all drowned and that the sea spit them all out on the other side, on the side of the sea where the Jewish people came out, or where the Jews came out. Why did they do this? So that the Jews wouldn't say that just like we come up on this side, so maybe the Egyptians, they're on another side far away from us, right? They're way down there. Because like we said, that they didn't really cross over the sea. They just went through the middle of the sea a few miles and they came out on the same side that they went in. Maybe so that the Jews wouldn't be afraid. And they say, listen, maybe the Egyptians, they held back, or maybe they escaped, or maybe they somehow or other got out, and that they're still gonna run after us. God saved them on that day. It says on that day they were saved, and not before. When they went out of Egypt, they still weren't sure of themselves, right? The Jewish people. Sforno says something similar. It says on that day, God saved the Jews. When they Jews saw the people that wanted to kill them dead, and that wanted to enslave them, they were dead. So now the Jews knew for the first time that they were totally free. Because until they were dead, the Jewish people, they were just like slaves running away from their master. And now the master was dead. They weren't running away from anybody. The Jews saw this powerful hand that God made in the Egyptians, and the people feared God, and they believed in God, and they believed in Moshe, his servant. Rashi says they saw this hand, this great hand of God, Yad Gadol, the hand of God. What does that mean, the hand of God? They saw all the tremendous power that the hand of God made, and therefore they believed in Moshe. The people feared God, and they believed in Moshe. It says the OrHaChaim that beforehand the Jews had a fear of God from fear. They feared God of punishment. They definitely had that. And like it says, it's proved in other places. But now it says, I'm sorry. But according to some opinions, no, they didn't even have the fear of God at all. God told them that they had to take a sheep into their house, and there were certain Jews that didn't want to do it. So if so, they didn't even have a fear of any punishment. They didn't have until they saw what was going on over here in Egypt, then they really believed in God's power. In any case, they certainly did have what's called the awe of God. Fear of God is also totally surrender to God. They knew and they realized that all of nature and all being was totally in the hands of God. And so they realized that their whole existence depends on God every moment, not just their freedom, but their very being. That's what it means that they believed in God, a complete faith. They had a complete faith in Moshe. As Yashir Moshe b'nei Yisrael, then the Jewish people sang the song to God, Ve'omer, and they said, Ashir el Hashem, I will sing to God because he is very, very high. Horses and drivers he threw into the sea. So there's an explanation by the Rebbe of Gur, I saw in Sfat Emet, that he says that the Jewish people saw the God and they believed in God. They saw the hand of God and they believed in God and in Moshe. Says the Moshe was the leader of the generation. Says the Rebbe of Gur, the Sfat Emet, that the only way a person can really be happy as Yeshir, that they really started to sing, was if you have faith in Moshe also. You have to have faith in Moses, the leader of the generation, together with God. Because if you have faith only in God, then you can pretty much think that you can interpret God however you want to. But if you have faith in God and in Moses, then you realize that Moses is the spokesman and that you have to do whatever he says. That's what he says. The Baal HaTurim says, it comes to tell you that anyone who disagrees with his rabbi, his teacher, he's like disagreeing with God. You have to believe in the words of the Chachamim, of the wise man. If you believe in the words of the wise man and the Talmud and the other explanations, it's just as though you're believing in God. As it says, Az Yashir Moshe, then it doesn't say Moses sang, but it means they will sing. So let's go down here, see if we can get this over here. There's the Kli Ykar. The Kli Ykar points out, it says it should say what does it mean, Hashira Hazot? What is it? He asked a little bit different question. Why should it say, as then will sing Moses and the Jewish people this song? Just say, then Moses and the Jewish people sang to God. All these three words, Es Hashira Hazot L'Hashem, is extra. So he says what it means is, I say, that here's a hint, what it says, that the rabbis say that the simplest maidservant saw on the sea what even the greatest prophets, Yechezkel, did not see. And in Yechezkel, remember we learned in the Haftorah, he saw these visions of godliness, and he enlivened, what brought thousands of people back to life, 20,000 people with the dry bones. That's why it says Ashira Hazot. Why it has to say, then they sang this song, feminine, Shir Hazot. It means that the song of the women, because even the women sang the song together. It says that they sang it separately, but the women also sang this song also, this amazing thing, that even the women could see this tremendous high revelation, which was higher than any of the prophets, except for Moses. So that's why it says, also the rabbis say something else. It says, then the Jewish people sang, Moses and the Jewish people sang this song, feminine song, right, fam? But if you look at the word, the grammar, it doesn't say sang. Then they will sing, Moses and the Jewish people. What do you mean they will sing? And when they crossed over the sea, they sang. Says the rabbi, Shar lo ne'amar. It doesn't say that the Jewish people sang, but Yashir, that they will sing. From here, we know the raising of the dead is from the Torah. Moses and the Jewish people will sing this song again. When are they going to sing it again? When the dead raise up, because obviously, when are they going to sing? Moses already died. We don't see in his lifetime he sang the song, and nobody else sang, and also the Jews also not. Mind you, what does this got to do with the raising of the dead? But because it says that the world to come, there won't be any more differences. The physical world won't be so important. So there won't be males and females. So that at the sea, that's why in the sea, that the simple woman, simple maidservant, she could see a great vision, which was similar like the future. Like it says in the cave of Gever, it says the women will be higher than the men. That's why it says Shirazu, Shir Lahava in the future. Come to tell you that all of them will be praising God. All of them will say in the future that this is our Cain, this is God, Ze Elokeinu. Here we'll see the next sentence. It says, Ze Keli Vanveu, this is my God, and I will praise him. So this says they pointed with their finger. It says that even one place it says that even the babies in the womb of the mothers sang together, that everyone saw pure godliness. And that's what happened at this Yam Suf, when God split the sea. Also, it says that God was mad when they went over the sea and they were singing this praise to God. And God said, that my handiwork is drowning. And there's all these Egyptians are drowning, and you're singing songs? What type of a thing is that? So on one hand, it's true. God does not like to destroy his creations. On the other hand, these Egyptians were evil. What were they running up to the Jews? What did the Jews do to them? The Jews worked hard labor, backbreaking labor. Who knows how many babies Paro had killed, Jewish babies, and they made the people work so hard, and they didn't pay them anything. So the Jews were just getting a small fraction of what the Egyptians owed them. So the Egyptians were just cruel, evil people. So why would God be sad and mad that the Jewish people were singing? So it says, because that's what it says, that my handiwork is drowning in the sea and you're singing songs. So there's the explanation from a person called the Shlosh, Shnei Luchot HaBrit, Rabbi Yeshaya Horovitz. And he says, no, what God was saying is, you waited for the Egyptians to be drowning, then you started to be happy. You should have been happy the first second I took you out of Egypt and I said you're leaving, right? Why weren't you happy there? Because you really didn't believe that it was going to happen. When were you only happy? You're only happy when you saw clearly, without any doubt, that there were no Egyptians. All of a sudden, the light went on. I see that God's promise is being kept. And God got mad. Why didn't you believe in me before? Why didn't you sing songs as soon as I told you you're going to get out? You didn't think I was serious? So that's what the Kli Ykar says. Here we go. So that's what it means. Everyone will point to God. The tzaddikim will point with their fingers. And this is an amazing wonder that everyone is going to have to sing the song. Again, everyone will see godliness, whatever this means. I don't know what it means, but they'll see, because God is not a person and God is not an angel. And even an angel, you can't take the revelation of an angel. But God that creates all the angels, who knows what it means? Nevertheless, they did see it at the splitting of the sea. And that was a preparation for the even bigger revelation that they had at Mount Sinai. And that is only a preparation for the even bigger revelation that will be in the future. And therefore it says that in that time, the prophecy will be to men, to women, to simple people, to everyone will be equal. Everyone will see God. That's why it says go'ah, by singing to God that he's very high up. What does it mean, high up? It means that God is spiritual. High means that he's above the spiritual. That he even cares about the physical world and actually did all these amazing miracles only for the Jewish people to take them out of Egypt and to show the whole entire world that God is the creator and the master and the ruler and the provider, and that God has a personality. He cares and he gets things done in the physical world. as we're going to learn, God willing, tomorrow. In this Torah portion, we're going to see, I don't know how much time we're going to spend tomorrow on this song, because the song is very beautiful. There's no doubt about it. But there's also two other interesting things, and that is, first of all, the manna fell. The manna, that was a big thing. The manna fell for them in the desert. And the Jewish people sort of complained about it. And then there's the thing about the bitter waters, and that everyone came to Moses and said, Moses, they requested Moses. They prayed to God, it didn't work. They went to Moses, said, Moses, you pray to God, and maybe working. God told them what to do. And then finally, in the end, is the war with Amalek. So we're going to have to try to get as much as that done in the next 2 days as possible. Meanwhile, have a good day with Mashiach. Now, tonight is going to be the 10th day of Shvat. 10th day of Shvat. It is a special day in Chabad. We talked about this, and really for the whole world. The previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, who is the Messiah, he passed away on this day in 1950. And his successor, who was also the Messiah, who was also the Mashiach, he took over 1 year later exactly. So this is a very big day, really, for Chabad and for Judaism, for the whole entire world, that this is the day when the redemption really went into a whole different higher gear. So it has to happen any instant now. And we'll talk about this more, God willing, tomorrow. Have a good day with Mashiach. Now, hope to see you all, God willing, tomorrow at 8:15 in the morning. Please be on time.
Rabbi Bolton, how you doing?